I hope everyone has had a great day. You are right now, it's 2 p.m. for me, so we're going to get started. So as you can see on the slide, today we are going to be talking about hybrid project management with Zoho Remotely. This is part of our advanced series. This is actually the last webinar of our advanced series. So I hope you enjoyed it. So just for some introductions, my name is Lyra and I'm an evangelist at Zoho based in Australia. And so what that usually means is that I attend a lot of events and I present at a lot of events and I talk with customers like you. I take your feedback, take them back to the product teams, and I also help try and improve your experience a little bit. So obviously we are not able to do events right now. So in the meantime, I have been running these sorts of webinars on Zoho One and also Zoho Remotely. So as many of you might know, Zoho Remotely is our new suite of applications that are available for free right now. And so we will be covering 2 of those apps today. And I will be joined by Naveen, who will, I'll hand over to him later on in the session to talk about projects and sprints, and also show you a little bit of a demo as well. So a few housekeeping things first up. Chrome or Firefox or the meeting app is going to be best. If you do have a bad connection, try and refresh your browser. Otherwise, we will send you a recording after the webinar. And also, please feel free to ask all of any questions that you have throughout as we go, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So this is what we are going to be covering today. First up, I'm going to talk to you a bit about Zoho as a company, and then we'll touch on Zoho Remotely. Then I'll hand over to Naveen to talk about projects and sprints. We'll go over some resources, and then we'll answer all of your questions that you may have. So first up, I just want to start with a poll to get an idea of how familiar you are with Zoho. So you'll see a poll pop up on your screen. I just wanted to click one of those. Okay, awesome. So most of you are Zoho One users. That's fine. That's sort of what we've found with the previous webinars. One of you is using Zoho Remotely, and some of you are also using a platform or a few of the applications. Okay, so that's good. Sort of we know where to target the demo towards if most of you are Zoho One users. But anyway, thanks for your response in that one. So just starting with a bit about as a company, we've been around for over 22 years. We have Zoho One, so for you Zoho One users, you would know a lot about a lot of those. We are in 190 different countries, and across those countries, we have 50 million users worldwide. So, and helping us run is over 8,000 employees who work for Zoho. And in early March, I believe, when our CEO decided that we should work remotely, we transitioned easy. It wasn't easy for everyone, but it was definitely a lot easier than it would have been because all of our Zoho employees run on Zoho One. So we use all of the applications that you use every day. And so it really made the transition, as smooth as possible into working remotely because we already have all of that, software set up. And we like to think of it as one big, really connected ecosystem, and those using Zoho One would know a bit about that as well. And our promise to you is that we don't own your data, you do. We'll never sell your data, and we'll also never do any advertisements. So I think that's just really nice to know because Zoho Remotely is free right now. So especially in a lot of our free products, that's really nice to know because generally when you think of a free product, you think of ads. So obviously those of you paying for Zoho One, you would know that as well. But for those of you using Zoho Remotely, this is just our promise to you Another really cool thing that I don't think we've actually announced this yet, but we will be extending the Zoho Remotely free trial period until the 1st of September. So it was going to be ending in July, but now we're extending that till September as well. Okay, so this is how we like to sort of lay out our product offering. So we have all of these single applications available at the bottom, and you can purchase those, just as single applications, or you can get a few of them. Generally, if you're going to need a few of them, you're better off looking into one of our platforms, which is in the middle. So we have the customer experience platform, the finance platform, HR, collaboration, commerce. We also have workplace, and that is also where Zoho Remotely will fit in as well. And then at the top, you can see we have Zoho One, which is the operating system for business. So these are the applications available in Zoho Remotely, and we like to break them up into 4 different categories. And those are communication, collaboration, productivity, and remote assistance. So in communication, we have Click, Meeting, and Showtime. I'm actually using Meeting to run this webinar today. In collaboration, we have Work Drive, Projects, and Sprints, which we will talk about 2 of those today. In productivity, we have our Office Suite, Writer Sheet, and Show. And for remote assistance, we have Assist. And we do have Lens as well, which I'm not sure when we're going to be bringing that out in Australia. It is available, I believe, in India and the US right now. But there is definitely a timeline to bring that out in Australia if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, those are how we like to break up the applications within Zoho Remotely. So just before I hand over to Naveen to take you through projects and sprints and do a demo, I just wanted to do another quick poll to see which of you are actually using projects or sprints right now to run, your project management within your business. And feel free to, talk a bit about that in the Q&A and see how you're, talk to me about how you're using them. Okay, quite a lot of you are not actually using them right now. A few of you are using projects. Okay, that's really good to know. Hopefully you'll learn a lot in this webinar and you'll be able to really take that and sort of run with it and move into transitioning into a project management tool if that's something you're wanting to do. And we can definitely send you some more resources at the end as well. So that's really helpful to know. Thank you for that. Okay, now I'm going to hand over to Naveen to take over the demo part of the webinar. So just bear with me while I hand over to him.
Thank you, Laura. I have access now. Hey, everyone. Just give me a quick second. I'll start sharing my screen. Zoho Projects is an online project management tool which helps you run your business online with ease. With Zoho Projects, you can plan your project, track its progress, and collaborate with your team to get things done efficiently. With over 3 million users, Zoho Projects is already being used across various business verticals. From software development to construction companies, marketing agencies to recruiting agencies have successfully completed many of their projects using Zoho Projects. In this webinar, we are going to talk about a few key features of Zoho Projects and project management in general. Let's start by creating a new portal from scratch and see how to set things up. A new projects portal always comes with a demo project with some data to let you play around and get a feel of how things work. But let's start by creating a new project from scratch and see how easy it is to set up a Gantt chart. which is what we are going to talk about next. To create a new project, all you would need is a name, a start date, and an end date. To begin with, you need to understand the hierarchy deployed in projects. Let's talk about that real quick and then take it forward from there. Your work items and goals can be structured into milestones, task lists, tasks, and subtasks. A group of subtasks together form a task. A group of tasks together form a task list. And a group of task lists together form a milestone. Which means, when you complete a group of subtasks, you are completing a task. When you complete a group of tasks, you are completing a task list. And similarly, when you complete a group of task lists, you are completing a milestone. Milestones can be considered as progress trackers or short-term goals in the bigger picture. The definition of this largely varies from business to business. And task lists can be considered as to-do lists, which consists of all your tasks and subtasks. Now let's add a few milestones, task lists, tasks, and subtasks to get some data to generate a Gantt chart. So this is how a Gantt chart looks. A Gantt chart is a commonly used feature in Zoho projects and project management in general. It is one of the most popular and useful ways of showing your tasks or events displayed against time. On the left of the chart, you will see a list of activities, and along the top is a suitable time scale. Each activity is represented by a bar. The position and the length of the bar reflects the start date, duration, and the end date of activities. This allows you to view at a glance what the various activities are, when each activity begins and ends, how long each activity is scheduled to last, where activities overlap with other activities and by how much, and the start and the end date of the whole project. The red bar represents milestones. The gray one represents task lists. The blue and green ones represent tasks and subtasks respectively. There is also a dependency that you could use, which is called the finish to start dependency, which means the dependent task cannot begin until the parent task is finished. For instance, in a journal publishing process, the self-review of a journal cannot begin until the draft is complete by the writer. So to add this dependency, all you need to do is click your mouse pointer and drag it from one task to another, and this would add the dependency. This means subtask 2 cannot begin until task 1 is complete, which is the finish to start dependency. You have options right here to make changes to your task. You do not have to go back to your task list page to change the start or the end dates of tasks or rearrange them. All you need to do is click on a task that you want to change and drag it to a different timeline. And you also have options to add new tasks or subtasks directly from your Gantt chart. Click on Add Task here, give it a name, select the start date and end date and the owner, and you're done. So the new task is generated over here. Now let's move to one of my demo accounts which has a lot of data, so I could show you how Gantt charts look in real time after you add all your work items to them. So this Gantt chart is a construction company's Gantt chart. It has all the work items listed on the left, and the top is a suitable time scale. As you could see, you have all the bars listed over here. The tasks, milestones, task lists, and subtasks. And you also see the dependencies. If you look closely, you would observe that all activities are given two shades, a darker one and a lighter one. The darker one represents the percentage of completion of that activity. For example, if you look at demolition, it says it's complete by 50%, which is why 50% of this bar is dark and the other 50% is in a lighter shade. If you prefer to view more details of each task that's listed here, all you need to do is click on this bar, drag it to the left, and you will see all tabulations of all data related to each task that's displayed on the Gantt chart. You will see the status, the owner, the duration, start date and end date, and if it's completed, the completion date, a priority, a tag, and your cost variance, your plan versus actual, the budgeting. We offer two kinds of Gantt views, Milestone Gantt and a Chronology Gantt. Milestone Gantt is what you're looking at right now. In a Milestone Gantt, milestones, tasks, and subtasks are displayed based on their hierarchy in the project. Whereas in a Chronology Gantt, Gantt bars are displayed based on the order of start and end date of the project, which means your milestones and task lists would be completely neglected, and all tasks and subtasks would be arranged chronologically to give you a view of when the project starts and when it ends. Next, we are going to talk about resource utilization reports, time tracking, and integration with Zoho Invoice. The resource utilization reports are great for managers when allocating tasks to others. It gives you a view of how balanced your team's work hours and free hours are. Our CSAR design helps you to view at a glance if someone is fully occupied, has time to spare, or is overloaded. This helps you to easily split work amongst your team and maintain a balance. If you look at the chart, you will see three different colors. One is green, which means that the person has time to spare. One is blue, which means that the person is fully occupied and cannot take up additional work. And the other one is red, which of course means that the person is overloaded. This view not only helps managers understand how occupied their team members are, but also to reassign work to someone else if someone is overloaded. So if you look at Sharon, she is fully occupied throughout the week and does not have any spare time to take up additional work. And Stephen has a lot of spare time and can take up additional work, whereas Steve is working on three different tasks and is overloaded. So if you decide to move one task from Steve to someone else to ease some work, it could be done directly from here. Click on the task, select the task that you want to reassign, and drag it to the other person. Now both Steve and Stephen's work hours are balanced. Stephen is fully occupied throughout the week, and Steve now has some time to spare while he's still working on two other tasks. In large organizations where you handle a lot of users and a lot of tasks, scrolling through a huge list of users to find out which one is occupied and which one has time to spare might be a bit difficult, which is why the filter feature would be very helpful for you. You could filter the users based on their roles, their allocation type, or even their team, so that you could sort the list and plan your work. You also have an option to convert this as a PDF and share it with your team if you prefer to work that way. With everyone working from home these days, keeping a track of the time you spend working when you're at home has never been more important. With projects, you get an option to keep track of every minute you work on every single task that you're doing. Every time you start working on a task, you can start the timer here and end it after your work is done. We also have a global timer that you could use, which when you're working on multiple tasks and you're done for the day, you could close them all directly from here. And this will automatically log the total number of hours you have spent working on the task and will calculate the billable hours. And with our integration with Zoho Invoice, an invoice can be automatically generated and sent to your clients based on the completion of milestones or on a weekly or a monthly basis based on your billing agreement. Integration with Zoho Meetings is next on the list. This integration lets you conduct instant online meetings with your team members to collaborate on tasks related to a project. With this integration, you can invite participants and initiate meetings quickly without leaving Zoho projects. To do this, all you need to do is click on the Zoho meeting icon and select the ones that you want to call for the meeting and send them an invite by clicking on invite. Documents is an important feature of Zoho projects. It is a repository of all files that you upload to your project. So every file that you upload to a task or a task list would be collected and stored here for everyone to access. But the most interesting part is you could create new files directly from here. With our integration with Zoho Writer, Sheets, and Show, which are also part of the Remotely suite, you can not only upload documents from there, but you would create new documents and directly upload them to here. All you need to do is select the type of document that you want to create, click on it, give it a name, fill the document with the content you need, and it will be saved automatically in your repository inside Zoho projects. Next is Zoho Sprints. Zoho Sprints is an agile project management solution designed to help agile teams working in iterations and increments to deliver their project on time. Both projects and sprints follow different methodologies. While projects follow the conventional waterfall method, sprints follow agile. And sprints is a tool that is predominantly used by development teams. In large organizations, where different teams prefer a different approach towards their work, using multiple tools can make things complicated, which is why we came up with a tight integration between projects and sprints. With this integration, you can manage your backlogs and run sprints from Zoho projects, collaborate on tasks with a two-way sync your timesheets across projects and sprints, and access agile reports from projects. Now, to enable the integration of Zoho projects and sprints, you'd have to click on Setup on Zoho projects, click on Zoho under Marketplace, and click on Configure under Zoho Sprints, and select the portal that you want to map this to, and click on Map Portal. So when you have a project both in projects and sprints, the sprints icon over here helps you to identify which of your projects are in both projects and sprints. The idea behind this is to let your development teams work in the agile method where they deliver their projects, working on iterations and increments, and managers could still stick to Zoho projects and view everything directly from here. So after you enable the integration between Zoho projects and sprints, and when you try to create a new project in Zoho projects, you'll always be asked the option to add it to Zoho sprints. And if you choose to add the project to sprints, it will be directly added on both projects and sprints as well. Just like when you're creating a new project, when you're creating a new task, you'll be given an option to add it to sprints as well, or keep it exclusively for projects. Let's create a new task, naming it both places just so that we can identify it later and see how it works. Let's click on Save and Add it to Zoho sprints. Select the mandatory and default fields and click on Add. Now this task is created in projects. To view this in sprints, all you need to do is click on the sprints icon and it will directly take you there. As you can see, the task is now created here as well. And on the sprints view, you would have a Zoho project details section, which gives you all the mandatory and default fields of Zoho projects. And similarly, when you go back to Zoho projects, you will have a default and mandatory field section for Zoho sprints as well. These are the mandatory fields that are always default for the project. Now let's see how the two-way sync works. When someone comments on a task on Zoho projects, the comment would be automatically updated on sprints. And when it's a comment from projects, it would have the label of Zoho projects on it when you view it from sprints. And similarly, when someone chooses to reply to a comment from sprints, the same would be added to projects with the tagline of Zoho sprints. The same goes for attachments as well. This helps managers and development teams stick to different projects but communicate together. There's a separate section for Zoho sprints on Zoho projects. When you click on Zoho sprints, you would have options to view all the running sprints and backlogs directly from projects without having to move back to sprints. This helps managers to view what's happening and also create new work items if needed. And just like in Zoho projects, you could fill in the timesheet from sprints and the same would be calculated and be used under your billable hours in Zoho projects when an invoice is being sent. This integration also helps you to view all agile reports on Zoho projects. So every report that you have on sprints could be viewed directly from here. You also have options to view a status timeline, which lets you understand how long it took for each work item to move from one status to another. I hope this demo helped. Please post any queries that you have and we'll answer them in the next few minutes. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Feel free to send in any questions that you might have, and I'll just go through some of the resources that I have for you. So if you're looking for any more information on projects and sprints, you can head to the websites that are shown here, and I'll also post all the links in to all of you in a second. But basically, if you go onto the individual products and sprints websites, there's heaps of resources. If you click on the resources tab, you can find more webinars that go really in depth to specific functions that you need to perform within each of the applications. And there's heaps of helpful like user guides on there as well. Then we also have a specific COVID-19 resource page set up. So that includes some information about relief initiatives, you know, business continuity programs, some of our virtual community meetups that we've been running in Australia, and some other workshops and COVID-19 dashboards and educational resources as well. So yeah, so I'll post those links as a message to you all right now. Okay. So I see a few questions on there. They're just being answered by Naveen right now. Does anyone have any other questions that they wanted to send in? Okay, there's a few more questions being asked. Okay, cool. There's heaps of questions. So Naveen will be jumping on and answering those for you right now. Okay, sorry, Katie. I'll put the the answers to those questions there again. Okay, wow, that's heaps of questions, but that's really good. We'll we'll post all the answers publicly so that you're all able to see them as well. Also with the, so you will get a recording of the webinar at the end, and we'll also send you a link to a survey, which we would really, really appreciate if you, answered the survey on there. And with the email, I'll also send you a link so that you can find all these questions again, because I know that Zoho Meeting doesn't allow the attendees to download the Q&A, so I can send you an overview of all of the questions asked as well so that you have them for your record. And I've also included my email in those links that I shared with you all. So feel free to email me if you have any further questions. Does anyone have any further questions to add? Okay, so David just asked another question. I'm fairly sure you'll need to buy a license for all of the people that you want viewing and editing everything in projects. So with the projects in Zoho Remotely, you don't need to, or I mean you obviously need to, but up to 100 users are free. But if you're using a Zoho One, just to manage the projects, you will need to buy a license. If you want the subcontractors editing anything, you can have free client users. They're not exactly users, they just are able to come in and have a look at the progress that you've made within the project. Yeah, so David, you'll have to purchase a subscription for all of the people who are managing the projects. And yeah, Katie, you can have client users. Do you need a link to to try and turn that on? All right, David, maybe if you wanted to send me an email, or I can send you an email after this, because it might be a specific use case, and we can have a bit more of a chat into what you are needing. Yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, I think that's all the questions for now. So like I said, you will get a recording with the link to a survey, and also I'll add in the questions there so that you have all of the information and resources that you need to look into using projects and sprints a bit more, or if you are already using it, you have those as well. And then I will also include my email in the email that you will receive with the recording. So if you haven't copied it already from those links that I shared, then it will be in there as well. So feel free to email me if you have any further questions. Yeah, and I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. I will be holding some other webinars in the future. I really encourage you to join the Zoho One webinars tomorrow. I believe it's on tomorrow, which I have sent you a link to. It's a Zoho One workshop. You can also just Google that and that will come up straight away. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Thanks so much to Naveen for coming on and chatting with us about our projects and sprints and showing us the demo. And awesome, thanks Colin. Yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to speak to you at another webinar in the future and eventually meet all of you at an event when we are able to host events again.